Okay, hello. I'm going to introduce chapter 28. Just before that, do notice that I've changed 27 in that I've done a sort of brief introduction to roughly what happens in the chapter. I just think that's going to be useful, I think, so that before you actually start tackling the Latin, you've got some idea of what to expect. So that's 27. And I've also then appended 28 with comments and again the same initial blurb at the start. So we meet in 28, we meet Julius Martialis. He's the officer in charge of the Praetorian camp. No doubt just casually watching the stars and having a cigarette and imagining it was going to be a routine night in the Praetorian camp like any other. And all hell breaks loose. So there he was on duty in the Praetorian camp, and he sees the ragtag and bobtail procession approaching the camp and has to decide whether to let them in. And we're told that he was afraid is metuens. You'd normally expect is with a proper verb, but it's Tacitus, so he's going to have is with a participle. He's fearing exitium, he's fearing his own death if he holds out against these people who've turned up at the gate. And I think he's afraid magnitudine because of the enormity of this subiti sceleris. It seems to have come from nowhere, really. And it panics him into making a decision. He's afraid of two things. He's afraid because of the enormity of what he's beholding unfolding in front of him outside the gate. He's also worried whether the camp is more widely corrupted. So he didn't probably know about all this, but what if lots of other people below him are in on it and he ends up being the only one not to join in? The an is slightly odd. You've got metuens with an. Normally you'd expect metuens with ne, fearing lest. So again, Tacitus is breaking the conventions of Latin grammar. So there he is, Julius Martialis. What he did in his panic is at least praebuit suspicionem. He lent a suspicion of complicity, plerisque, to most people. So I think we can say he generally showed signs that he was in on the conspiracy. Maybe he sort of shouted from the ramparts, yeah, of course I knew about this. I'll let you in, don't worry. We're all on the same side here. So he suggested that he was in on things. He wasn't alone. The other tribunes and centurions, they also, and there's a striking place to put such a long verb. The verb itself doesn't add that much in terms of what it's saying. It just means they preferred. They placed something before something else. So the other tribunes and centurions preferred or put first the present things, the present situation. So that's a neuter plural adjective. They put the present situation, and antepono takes the accusative and then a dative. Dubi set honestis are in the dative. So they put first the present situation and push to the back of their mind dubiis, more uncertain things, the uncertainties of what they should do, and honesties, and the right thing to do. So obviously they could have taken a chance and said, no, go away. We're going to stay loyal to Galba. He's our paymaster. We're not having this upstart Otho using us as a means of propelling himself to power. But they thought, no, we'll go along with it. And that leads us then to Tacitus further analysing the Roman psyche, isque habitus animorum, and this state of mind, habitus animorum, was such that I think it is essentially a result clause. Such was the state of mind that as a result, but it's not clear from the way Tacitus has phrased it, if you like, that because it should be something like adio maybe, or you'd expect maybe tantos or some word like that. You haven't got it, you've got is, but anyway, such was the state of mind that. And this wonderful sententia is one of the best ones, I think, in the whole of Tacitus. Pessimum facinus auderent pauci. The inverted word order, the plosives there. Pessimum facinus, bringing that to the front because this dreadful crime just forces its way to the front of the sentence. A few people dared this. Plures velent. A few more were happy for it to happen, or positively wanted it to happen, but weren't prepared to roll up their sleeves and get it done. They were the pauci, the few people driving this. But omnes paterentur, a wonderful, sardonic and dire observation that everybody just allowed this terrible crime to happen. It seemed to gain its own momentum. So it's really strikingly couched. I think even Virgil would have been happy with that. So that's chapter 28. I think if I say any more, I'll be over-egging the pudding. So I'll just stop there. Okay.